There are some developments for you out of Georgia we want to bring to your attention. A hearing in the 2020 election subversion case against former President Donald Trump and 18 co-defendants was being held today. And the proceedings are focusing on Kenneth Chesebro and Sidney Powell. They are slated to be tried together next month. But before the hearing, the judge ruled cases of the former president and the other defendants would not be tried with Chesebro and Powell. So what does this all mean? Now let's bring in senior reporter with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, also known as the AJC, Tamar Hallerman, to really break this down for us. Great to have you with us. Just explain, first up, why the judge ruled that the defendants can't all be tried together and that Chesebro and Powell deserve their own hearing.
So there are 19 defendants in this massive racketeering case here in Georgia, and many of those defendants are kind of pulling in opposite directions. We had Ken Chesebro and Sidney Powell who demanded a speedy trial, but there were many others, including the former president, who don't want that. They ideally would want to slow things down or at least keep things going at a regular pace. So many of them have filed their own motions to break away from Chesebro and Powell, or to sever in legal parlance. So that's what this ruling was about today. And basically what Judge McAfee did was split the field into two. We now have two folks, Chesebro and Powell, who will be going to trial on October 23rd. And then there are the 17 others. We don't know exactly when they will be going to court. I think it's pretty safe to presume at this point that it could be heading into 2024 before they go to trial. But for now, there are two groups. It's very possible, this judge noted in his ruling, that there could be more after he'll determine after getting other pretrial motions.
Very interesting. And there are more decisions to come. I understand today's hearing covered 3 motions from the defense. Generally speaking, that is to speak with the grand jurors who handed up the indictment, to unseal witness transcripts, and to disclose the names of these unindicted co-conspirators. Explain why these motions are significant and what it may mean if the defense is approved on these suggestions.
Well, there are 2 grand juries at issue here. There was a special grand jury that met for nearly 8 months last year. They heard from 75 different witnesses, including Governor Brian Kemp, Senator Lindsey Graham, many others. They recommended that 39 people be indicted. The DA, of course, ended up only pursuing 19, but defense counsel wants to see witness transcripts for those 75 witnesses in order to glean the kinds of information that went into this investigation. The judge is going to determine what he wants to do with that. There are all sorts of discussions today about what the law is in terms of special grand juries, which are very rare in Georgia. There's also a second grand jury that met last month. This was the grand jury that ended up handing up a 41-count racketeering indictment against Trump and others. Defense counsel wants to interview those jurors to ask questions about prosecutors' presentation to them, to get a sense of how much independence there was among jurors, or whether things were kind of spoon-fed from the DA's office. We're also waiting to see how the judge is going to rule on that. As for determining who these 30 unindicted co-conspirators are, that's something that the DA's office said they're willing to hand over to the defense.
And just a reminder for everyone, you can watch this all happen live, all of these proceedings being broadcast there for us all to watch. Tamar Hallerman, thanks for the update. Great to chat with you.